So Asia Wilson just mistakenly exposed why so many of the people around the WNBA hate Caitlin Clark, why they resent Caitlin Clark, why they want Caitlin Clark to fail, and why they hate every single one of her fans. Let's take a listen, okay?
Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like, it pushes her over the top in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
It reminds me of of you, and I know she's talking about Paige and not Caitlin Clark, but her privilege, right? Paige has gotten where she's got to because of her privilege, right? Asia Wilson, first of all, born 6'4". That's a privilege, right? 4 inches taller than Paige. You want to know what a privilege is? Is to be born athletically and genetically gifted, okay? That's a privilege. I got news for you. Going to a private school, like Asia Wilson did, that seems like a privilege. It's just so insane. They think Caitlin Clark's life and the reason why she's in the WNBA and why she's had success because of, you guessed it, because of what she looks like. And it's, as you can see on the screen, privilege. And she has to acknowledge her privilege. And that's why they accept Paige, because she acknowledges her privilege. I mean, it's just such insanity. We live in a cartoon world. I mean, it's just bonkers that we're still talking about things like this, okay? Let me be very clear. Let me be very, 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 very clear. There are still things that happen in this country that are really, really bad for people from all different backgrounds, right? Gender, race, age, sexual orientation, doesn't even matter, right? Like anything. So I am not disputing any of that, okay? I am not saying that no negative things exist. But the fact that we're still believing that in sports, by the way, in sports, where it's pretty much you either can ball or you can't, that we think that there's some sort of privilege that's now leading Paige to success, leading Caitlin Clark to success, or it's making Caitlin Clark more famous and more popular than she is. It's just, I'm so sick of these conversations. It's just insanity. We can't have honest conversations anymore, even within sports, which doesn't make any sense. Was Patrick Mahomes privileged? Was LeBron James privileged? Was Asia Wilson privileged? Like what are we talking about right now? You either can ball or you can't. You're either good enough or you're not. So just stop with the nonsense. It's such insanity. They thought Caitlin Clark only got to where she was because of her privilege, and that's why they figured, nah, she's not going to be that good in the WNBA. This is fool's gold. And what happened? She exposed everyone and said, I'm a rookie, and I'm already better than 99.9% of all of you. Just wait. Man, this stuff is just so insane to me. It really, really is. And I know this is a little bit older, but I only really just saw it, and it was just like, it just makes my head want to explode because it's just such nonsense. The fact that she has to that she's viewing other people like this is just absurdity. It really, really is. We don't have to deny the pain of the past or even the present and still look at this and still say that this is utter nonsense. I stopped covering these types of stories on my other YouTube channel because it's just so divisive. People lose their mind, and I was like, I don't even want to have these conversations. I really don't, because I interact with people from all different backgrounds, discussing all different athletes, whether you're black, white, male, female, 55 years old, 20 years old, it does not matter. But people just can't seem to have an open and honest conversation about this. And it's really crazy. It's really crazy. I'll be praising quarterbacks, and depending on their color of their skin, people will say, oh, now I see what you like. And it's like, what are you talking about? I literally talk about all these quarterbacks, no matter what color their skin is. And yet people just, they want to see this divide so desperately. And you know what's insane too? Like a soundbite like this really doesn't get really the scrutiny that it deserves, right? a random bad fan of Caitlin Clark's, that interaction gets blown up to the biggest deal. And they want Caitlin Clark to answer it. And they want to talk about it on First Take and every other show and say, this is a serious issue with America. This is a problem that we have in our country. What are we going to do about it? And it's like, let's calm down here. And then we have a comment like this where she can't even look at a basketball player without looking at her color of her skin and saying, well, you really got a leg up because of your privilege. Okay. You know who's more privileged between Wilson and me? A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson. Because she's been given way more opportunity than I ever have gotten. In fact, majority of the WNBA players have gotten way more opportunity than I have. They have the ability to play professional basketball. I don't have that opportunity. Lots of them are bigger than me. I don't have that. They were born a woman, which then allowed them to be essentially not as good at basketball, but able to still play in a league that get paid. I'm better than, honestly, this is no exaggeration, I'm better than a lot of WNBA players. Not a doubt in my mind. And I'm older now. I'm still, are you kidding me? Some of these plays I'm looking at, it actually hurts my soul because I'm just like, man, this is not good. I already told this story before. When I was like 15, 16 years old, I played with collegiate women because I used to ref leagues. And so occasionally when they were down on people, I would have to jump in and play. And I dominated. I'm like literally not even like going through full on puberty yet. And these are grown women. These are true women, right? They're bigger and taller than me and everything. And yet I'm still balling. I'm like, this basketball is so small. I'm like, oh my God, everything goes in for me. This is crazy. I mean, it's just, and so that's privilege. I don't have that luxury. I got to go up like against grown men if I want to get into, D1 or play NBA or go overseas. I got to be with grown men. So you want to talk about privilege? The causes and conditions, right? Whatever the universe, God, whatever, created an environment for someone like Wilson to literally be the MVP. She was blessed with genetics. She was blessed with elite athleticism, elite hand-eye coordination, a lot stronger muscle mass than your average woman. Those are privileges. It's not just how much melanin is in your skin. Just absurdity, absolute insanity. It's a privilege that you were born in America and not in some random country where nobody would ever give you the opportunity to even remotely play basketball. Go to the Middle East and go see if you have the privilege to be able to make it to America and play basketball. It's privilege that you even get paid just to play basketball. Do you know how many people in this country have to do awful, brutal, back-breaking jobs? And they don't get paid like anything. They're getting paid 50, 60 grand. A lot of times even less than that. And you get to play basketball? You want to talk about privilege? You are privileged. A'ja Wilson, you are privileged. Just crazy. We just live in such a backwards world. And again, I'll say it again. This is not to deny any pain and suffering that has gone on from the various demographics of people, whether, again, race, gender, whatever. I'm not denying any of that. That clearly is a thing. But it doesn't mean that's the lens that we view every single thing through. That is called insanity. Absolutely, especially in athletics. Especially. God, man. This soundbite is truly the most perfect, what was that, like a 15-second clip? The perfect representation why they hate Caitlin Clark. Why fans feel like they're backed into a corner. Why they feel that they have to double, triple, quadruple down on Caitlin Clark. It's why I want to double down and triple down on creating Caitlin Clark content to combat nonsense like this. I refuse to let nonsense like this win because it's nonsense. And then Kelsey just like accepts it rather than being like, what are you talking about, man? You know how hard I worked to get where I am? You know how hard Paige has worked to get where she is? Man, miss me with that nonsense. Seriously. Angel Reese? You want to talk about Angel Reese? She's got way more privilege than me. Way more privilege. I don't have the ability to go get an advertising deal from Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. No one's paying me millions of dollars for a podcast. Again, I don't get to just be a bad basketball player and I get to now just be in the WNBA. Are you kidding me? Put me in the WNBA right now. You know how many rebounds I'd be getting? Like 30 or 40 rebounds a game. And I'd be putting up 20 plus points a game. I'm not exaggerating. I'm really not. There's really not a doubt in my mind. And believe me, I am past my basketball prime. But you put me on that court, it's like, all right, let's go. Privilege. Man, when you keep viewing the world through that, you find yourself in trouble. You find yourself living not in reality. Okay? If everything else was equal, then maybe we could talk. But I guarantee you, Angel Reese, A'ja Wilson, and any of these other WNBA players have way more privilege and opportunity than the vast majority of people that she thinks have privilege. And there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about what A'ja Wilson is talking about? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.